Hello, it is finally April, so let's go over my Q1 reading stats. I ended up reading a total of 19 books in January, February, and March that amounted to about 7,141 pages. In general, I've been reading a lot slower this year compared to the last 2 years. I've been reading slower, I've been reading more intentionally. Something that I realized over the last couple of years is that at some point I was trying to read really fast to try to get through as many books as possible, which made me realize that sometimes I don't enjoy books when I'm trying to rush through them. So an intention that I hope to continue into the rest of the year is to continue to read at a pace that I'm comfortable at, where I am intentionally consuming the books that I'm reading. So because of that, it looks like I do take about 19 days to finish a book. Although I will say I'm not someone who reads one book from start to finish. I usually have about 5 to 8 books going at the same time. I don't know why I do that. That's just how I work. In terms of moods of the types of books that I've been gravitating towards, I have emotional, dark, reflective, intense. That is not a surprise. That's pretty on brand for me. 5% of the books that I've read have been nonfiction. That is lower than other years. I think last year, like 40% of the books that I read were nonfiction, and the year before that it was around 30 to 40%. So I enjoy reading nonfiction books. I don't know why that is down this year. We're gonna have to fix that moving forward. So in terms of genre, my most read genres are literary fiction, science fiction, followed by historical and speculative, and I am reading tons of short stories this year. That's the one thing that has increased. I generally love a good short story, but this year I've been reading quite a few of them. Maybe I'll make a separate video about my favorite short story collections that I've read this year. My most read author this year so far is James S.A. Corey, and that's because I'm reading through the Expanse series, and he's going to continue to be my most read because the second book in their new series is coming out this month, I believe. So I will probably reread the first one and then dive into the second one while I'm still reading through the Expanse. So James S.A. Corey will continue to be on this list. In terms of rating, I think I have a pretty good average rating. It's currently at 3.93, which I think is pretty high. I only have one book that I gave 2 stars to. I have 2 books that I gave 3 stars to. 1 book that I gave 3.5 stars to. 4 books that I gave 3.5 stars to. I gave 5 books 4 stars. 1 book 4.5 stars. And 5 books 5 stars. I feel like that is pretty good. I've been having a generally good reading year, and I'm happy about that. I want to continue that. So if I had to go into each month and pick my favorite book for each month, let's go into January. So these are the 6 books that I read in January. I don't have to think about this one. This would have to go to Eating Ashes by Brenda Navarro. This is this raw and quietly devastating book about a woman grieving the loss of her brother. She and her brother grew up in Mexico. They ended up emigrating to Spain to sort of reconnect with their mom. Their mom was living there already, and so they make the move with her. The book starts off with her brother unaliving himself. The book is told in this non-linear format, in the before and the after. We get to see some of their life in Mexico and their transition into living in Spain and dealing with microaggressions and everything about that immigrant experience that they face. And then the after, as she is navigating this new life without her brother and bringing his ashes back to Mexico. It was so raw, so tender. I absolutely loved it. In February, I also read 6 books. These are the 6 books that I read. And if I had to choose a favorite, this one's a little bit harder. Okay, I was between I Am Ghost Here by Kim Samek, which is a collection of short stories, and The Keeper of Lost Children. They're so different. They're so different. You know, I don't have to just choose one. I have free will. So I'm going to choose both. So Keeper of Lost Children by Sadiqa Johnson is a historical fiction novel. I've given 5 stars to her last 3 books. So do with that information what you may. I just really love her writing, and I love the stories that she chooses to tell. I always end up learning a little bit more about times of history that I was not familiar with. And in this particular book, she talks about brown babies, which were the babies that were born out of German mothers and Black GIs abroad after World War II or during World War II. This particular story unfolds through 3 separate points of views. I was just super enthralled and invested in every single point of view, and I love the way that everything came together. I'm also choosing I Am Ghost Here by Kim Samek. This is a debut collection of 12 short stories about women and our anxieties in a modern world. A lot of these stories explore existential dread with this dark humor. The short stories are incredibly well paced, well written. The writing is clever. I really enjoyed this collection. It's one of the best short story collections that I've read in a while, and it's a debut collection. I just really enjoyed this entire thing. Yeah, these are the 7 books that I read in the month of March. I'm going to choose the book that I gave 5 stars to, which is Repetition by Viggis Hajorth. This is translated by Charlotte Barsland. But I want to give a quick shout out to The Valley of Vengeful Ghosts by Kim Fu, because this was one that I didn't immediately love until I realized I was just so enthralled with this book that I forgot that I was reading it. It's one that slowly crept up on me, and by the end I was like, yeah, I really like this one, but it was slow to get started, which is why it didn't immediately hit me. Repetition by Viggis Hajorth is a short, punchy novel. We're following a novelist who in her older age is looking back at her life, specifically when she was 16 years old and she was living back at home with her parents. This is a tumultuous time where her mother is constantly analyzing her behavior. She has a really controlling mom who wants to know exactly where she is, who she's with, what she's doing, what she's breathing, what she's wearing. It's so suffocating. It's such a suffocating novel. It was just over 100 pages, and it's one of the most anxiety-inducing books that I've ever read. There's also an event that happens in this book that people should look up trigger warnings for. It is a pretty big spoiler, so I'm not going to talk about it. Yeah, it was it hit me. The end hit me. I was already having all of these emotions, and then it got me with the end. So that's why it's my favorite for March. So those are my 3 favorite books for every single month. But I also want to briefly tell you about all of the 5 stars that I've given out in Q1. There are 5 of them, which is pretty high. That's a pretty high number. I'm happy about that. It means I'm reading books that I'm enjoying. So these are the 5. We have Repetition by Viggis Hajorth. We have Keeper of Lost Children by Sadiqa Johnson. We have Eating Ashes by Brenda Navarro. We have Where Are You Really From by Elaine Say Chow. This is another short story collection. And we have I Am Ghost Here by Kim Samek. I'm really happy with these 5. I hope to continue to have such a great reading year. I am currently working on a TBR attack series where I'm trying to read through all of the arcs that I have so that I can finally start reading some of my own TBR and just read books that I've been excited for. I have a lot of books that are coming in that are pre-orders some already came in that I haven't even gotten to because I'm behind on my arcs and I really want to read the books I pre-ordered. So yeah, I want to get to them. Okay. Let me know down below how your reading is going, and if you've made it this far, leave a flower emoji down below. See you later. Bye.